Welcome back to Screenwriters Rewatch. Alex and I are on our penultimate episode here in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. In this episode, Harry starts his quest to seek out Horcruxes. Now, we couldn't let this episode go by without acknowledging the passing of Michael Gambon, who recently passed away, a national treasure and someone who will be remembered for his role in this series as a kind, sometimes cheeky, and profound individual, which is quite a legacy, and perhaps a reminder of the prevailing effects of powerful storytelling, creating characters and worlds we will never forget. Michael Gambon joins his peers Alan Rickman, Robbie Coltrane, Richard Harris, Richard Griffiths, and over 20 others who have contributed to this series and past since the film was released back in 2001. And when we were introduced to his unique and deep outlook on the afterlife, when he said, "To the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure." And on that note, we hope you'll stay with us as Harry's adventure draws to a close with our full-length discussion over on our podcast. But for now, thank you, Alex, for joining me again. We're here, Deathly Hallows Part 1. Tell us about it.
Oh yes, so here we are. Hogwarts has fallen in the last film. The Harry Voldemort is back, and Harry must now go on his long trail of finding out what a Horcrux is and somehow destroying them. It's always nice to see that Harry waits a few months before he actually gets around to doing anything. You know, real eager kid to sort of get on with the task. I find this one okay setup for the next film. It's nothing spectacular. It's interesting. I really like the dynamics we sort of pick up between Ron, Harry, and Hermione. Even though I feel at times the relationships are there to create drama for the sake of creating drama. We can get into why I feel that into the actual podcast. But I like their dynamic, and I like this sort of unlike the other films where we have, because I would say this film is what would be in the other films up to the midpoint. This is, and it ends with our midpoint sort of turn, and then the next film is the sort of the second half, really. I mean, I know it is the part two, but it actually is, it sort of feels like that, and it doesn't necessarily feel that we have this fully developed sort of film arc that we've had in the other films. But I think I really like their dynamic. I really like this sort of the finding of the Horcruxes. We sort of lose a lot of antagonists in this film. Even though I do like the Snatchers, I think they're an interesting, fun, a few characters sort of that we pick up that sort of become this threat behind, more so than Voldemort, because he's off doing something that I thought he was doing in another film, but apparently he's doing it now. Yeah, I mean that's my take. That's my take. It's not a lot of happening in this film until the last 5 minutes, really, and you could almost skip most of the film and just get to the last 5 minutes and be caught up for what's happening in the next one. It's a lot of wandering, and it does have the most unbelievable thing in a world where anything can happen in magic. There is one thing that happens in this film that I could possibly guarantee will never happen ever in any universe, but
Go on.
we can do you know what? I'm going to tease that for the podcast. If you want to know
Oh,
what the one unbelievable thing is in this film, it's not a big thing. It's not a big thing at all, but it is extremely unbelievable. And yeah, I'll leave it for the podcast for people to find out what that thing is.
Well, can't wait to hear what that one is. And I think actually it's not going to be as fiery an episode as I think as the last couple were, but I was surprised rewatching this. There were some elements of it I thought was stronger than they actually are, and found myself finding an awful lot of plot holes that I think perhaps we could unpack together. So maybe this will be more of a therapy session rather than a boxing ring. So
Yeah.
yes, if you want to hear more about Alex's revelations and my unpacking session with this film, just join us over on our full length discussion on our podcast. Just search the Script Department wherever you get your podcasts, or you can use the links found in the description below. We'll see you there.